Hello, this is Pearl, and today I'm gonna read Little Pilgrim's Progress, Chapter 28. Faithful ends his pilgrimage. When the morning came, Christian and Faithful were taken to the governor's court, where the judge sat every day to try any prisoners who might be brought to him. He was an old man, with a hard and cruel face, and like the governor, he hated the king and all his pilgrims. Christian and Faithful were brought before him, with their hands chained, and he asked where they had come from and what they had been doing. Then a boy named Envy, who had been one of the first to run after the little pilgrims and tease them, rose up and began to answer the judge's questions. He said he had known Christian and Faithful when they were living at home, and that they were disobedient and quarrelsome, and did not honor the wicked prince, who was the ruler of their country. Two other boys followed Envy, and they agreed that what he had said was quite true. They also told the judge that they were afraid the pilgrims would do great harm to the children of Vanity Fair if they were allowed to be at liberty, because they laughed at the treasures with which the wicked prince had filled the city, saying they were not worth having, and they pretended that they knew of a finer city and another king, whose laws were better than those of the wicked prince. There were 12 men sitting in court, whose duty it was to listen to everything that was said about the prisoners, and then help the judge to decide whether they deserved punishment or not. These 12 men were called the jury. Of course, they were chosen from among the chief servants of the wicked prince, and were not likely to be kind or just to any of the king's pilgrims. However, they always pretended to treat their prisoners fairly. So when Faithful asked if he might speak to them, the judge answered, "You ought to be put to death at once for all that you have done. But we will first hear what you have to say." Christian wondered how it was that Faithful had become so brave. His face was pale, but he did not seem to be frightened, although the judge and the people in the court looked wicked and cruel. Christian afterward knew that the king had helped his little pilgrim, and had made the timid boy brave and strong, so that he was not afraid to speak out and own that he loved his king dearly and would obey no one else. When Faithful had spoken, the judge turned to the jury and said, "You have heard what Envy and his companions have told us about these boys, and Faithful does not deny it. He will not serve our prince, and by the laws of our city he ought to be put to death." Then the 12 men answered, "We can see that both these pilgrims are wicked boys, but Faithful is the worst, because he is not ashamed to speak against our prince. We think that he must be killed, but Christian can be taken back to prison." Poor little Christian's mind had been so troubled by all that had happened that he scarcely understood what the jury was saying, and when the soldiers of the wicked prince came in and led Faithful out of the court, he wondered where they were going. In a few minutes he too was taken into the marketplace, and there he saw his companion in the midst of those cruel men, who were beating him and wounding him with their sharp weapons. "Oh, Faithful, Faithful!" he cried out, but Faithful did not answer. He was looking up into the sky, and his face was shining with a beautiful light, like the face of Christian's mother had shone when he saw her in his dream. Then Christian looked up also, and in the air just above the place where Faithful was standing, he could see a band of angels with their wings outspread, and he knew that they were waiting to carry the soul of the little pilgrim to its home in the celestial city.